Hey guys, Conde here. So I wanted to make this video to give you an encouragement on how you can connect to Jesus, to God, to this eternal greater intelligence and the creator of your reality. So I first want to start off by saying that everyone sees the success, the money, the degree, the relationship, the family, the kids. But what is behind the veil is a world that is so disgusting and is torturing. It is so painful. It's the mud. Okay, it is the dirty water that you feel like will never be purified and clean to drench yourself, to create a new life, to sustain and replenish yourself. That's really what it is. So I went through Night of the Dark Soul. It was where I stemmed so far from God. I was spiritually sick. I went through such a dark moment where like my health was all messed up. I didn't have the energy. I had nightmares all the time. So really experiencing spiritual warfare and just attack on me. And the world of the spirit exists. And if you do not equip yourself with knowledge and wisdom, for my people perish due to a lack of knowledge, you're going to find yourself in a very sticky situation, and no amount of money and sales can ever get you out of that if you don't know certain wisdom and teachings and knowledge in that field. So I completely stopped working. I was sick, and fast forward a couple months later, I just walked away from someone that I truly cared for and loved deeply. And that separation just broke everything in me. I found myself in my mama's basement. I had to start a new job and I had to learn sales, no sales experience. So I was like, what the hell do I do? And it just felt like I was living, but almost like I wasn't living my life. I was so numb. I was crying every day. You know, girls, women like me don't cry, but when we cry, girl, we cry. And I had to allow this source, this infinite love to heal me. And it was the hardest thing because I literally exhausted myself for 3 months to finally, to this day, be like, I can't do this alone. I give in, I surrender, and God just show me the way, because I just cannot do this by myself. And I'm okay with admitting to myself I don't know everything. And so I had a couple ego deaths. As much as you can be pretty, you can have the money, you can have everything, like at some point, if you haven't experienced it from a place of true fulfillment and alignment, like you will lose it. And once I lost everything, I found myself, didn't know how to do sales. And I just was telling myself all these lies that the darkness would want to tell. And so my connection, my journey with Source was like a 4 or 5 year journey, because I'd stemmed so far. I was looking for love in all the wrong places, knowing that it was always inside of me. And I remember vividly, like, when I was crying, it just felt like, it wasn't just like a, oh my gosh, I'm sad. It was like a soulful cry. It just hurts to cry. It's like no one likes to throw up. That's what it feels like every time I shed a tear. It's like, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. It was like an overwhelming, like I'm just folded, like I'm folding, I'm crying. I don't know what I'm doing. And everyone has at some point experienced that when you've lost someone, when there's a divorce, a death in the family. And so it's really difficult to pick yourself back up and tell yourself that you're this wonderful, amazing human being when you're in your mom's basement, or you used to live in your car at one point, So I had to pick myself back up. And it was like purgatory of the mundane is what I'm hearing. It was like, dude, I don't want to live. This is crazy. And mind you, I came from a refugee camp, so I know what hopelessness and uselessness and giving up looks like. And I had such a high spirit energy. And I remember Source telling me, Source was like, what happened to the woman that I gave my spirit to? And I remember breaking down and crying, because I was like, I just gave up. People, when I was coming to America, and I actually taught myself English within a month, and I spoke fluently. You couldn't tell that I was from a different place. I remember people were so mean to me. They told me that I smelled really bad. I didn't know what deodorant was at that time, and we were just like this new refugee family. And so I was this kind, sweet, funny girl, and over the years, like, I get emotional talking about, like, I shut her off because everyone was just so mean, But I never, even though I guarded my heart and I built my walls up, I was still kind. Like, if I had the last 5 dimes, I would give the last 5 dimes. That is who I am. I feel like that is a gift that God has given me. And so I still gave, I was still compassionate, I was still loving, I was still uplifting, even though at the expense of like, no one really knew what was going on except my sister, who's like my best friend. She still is to this day. And so it takes a great amount of courage to go through that. And it's not like life just, there's a rainbow and gold at the end of the tunnel. You will actually have to embody new skills and learn everything that you should have learned to align you to a place of fulfillment, okay? And what I mean is that, like, when you enter phase 2, like, let's say you get out the cloud, you go through the heartbreak, you're grieving, you feel better, okay? And now you're looking up and you realize, I'm an adult, I've got bills to pay, I need to think about financial freedom. What do I do? Don't really know how to do sales yet, okay? So I worked 3 times harder. My first month of sales, I brought in about 13,000, 14,000. In my second month, I brought in around almost 54,000. So I tripled my income from the first month to the second month. And when I looked at the money in my account, I couldn't believe how much I made. And I had just proven to myself within those 3 months of, oh my gosh, like, I am very good at this. I'm very good at picking myself back up, sticking to a plan, executing no matter what. I don't know how it's going to look like. I have a very high stress tolerance, and that was a gift, but also a curse too, because you got to know how to regulate yourself. So I exhausted myself for 3 months, and Source was like, are you going to give up? And I was like, no, like, I got this. I can control my outcome. I can, girl, I was crazy. And I was like, at one point, I remember I was doing I had experienced like soul cries every day for the past 3-4 months. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Not that I didn't have it, but it was so exhausting to show up 1,000% every single day and wearing a mask and living a double-edged life. Like, my energy was split and separate to the point where I just didn't know who I was anymore. Like, I felt myself in this meditation. I saw this little girl. She's so scared. She's like huddled over a corner and she's like crying. And I get emotional talking about it because I never gave myself the chance to grieve. I'm 23, but it almost felt like I was working, I'm achieving all these excellent things, personal development, but there was this place of emptiness. Like, I was doing it from a place of emptiness, and I chased the wrong people. I chased the wrong relationship. And the moment I finally knew what love was, like, it just was let go out of my grasp. And so I had no one but to blame but myself. And I had to learn to forgive myself and tell myself, if all these high-level people can do it, then God sees that in me. Even though I was living in my mama's basement and there was cockroaches and mice and stuff, I was like, I can do it. So this apartment isn't just an apartment. It is like a manifestation. It is the evidence that I called upon this, and I waited, and I was patient. I waited. I worked hard every day. I was working 6-7 days a week for 2 months. Like, I was just like, I have to figure this out. And so now I'm at a place in my life where it's like, okay, I got out of the first phase. I'm in the second phase. I'm overcoming. I buried the old self that no longer served. What do I do next? Because as an adult, from transitioning from a girl to a woman, it's like, you got to think about, do you want to be a wife? Do you want to be married? Do you want to have kids? Do you want to what skills do you lack? So for me, although I was in the business world, like, it never made me happy. I was just doing it just to do it. But I always wanted to be married and to have, one husband, death do us part. That marriage in a world that's telling you, like, just focus on yourself, be an entrepreneur. But it's like, what I'm called to is, I want to have as much babies, as much kids, and be in a very amazing, financially, like, rich environment where my husband provides, where I provide, but not in the way of finances. Like, granted, every relationship and every dynamic is different, but I want to be someone that invested in life, invested, like, where I nurture my kids, where home is a safe place for my husband and for us, and to have a love that my family's never seen before. And I remember telling myself, like, and this is the second phase, like, this is addressing the lies, calling out fear by its name, confronting with the truth, and learning new skills to overcome your own version. I remember telling myself, like, I could never have that. Like, everyone's doing business. I need to be doing business. And although I was doing sales and I was coordinating transaction, like, I was never truly complete, but I also didn't want to have a family from a place of lack, from a place of division and this need to have a family. I want to have a family from a place of fulfillment, from a place of knowing, like, I can walk in my purpose, but also have it all. But I couldn't have done that if I didn't go through the night of the dark soul and going to Christ, you know? And for those of you guys that didn't know too, is when I was 21, I had a dream that I was walking through a pasture and there was a man to the left and he was wearing a robe. He had a brown staff and like a brown sheepdog. That's what it looked like from afar. He was to the left of me and there's a beautiful waterfall and I'm looking back and there's millions of people. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, who the hell are you guys following? Because it ain't me. So, you know, I had to learn how to build my self-confidence. And thinking about it now, like, Christ chose me. Does that make sense? And I remember I looked back again to my left and he wasn't there. And I was like, am I tripping? Like, in that dream, I was like, am I tripping? And what I thought was a brown dog was a brown sheep. And it was walking, like, I think about it, like, it was walking next to me. And it's so weird. Like, I grew up without love. It was very much, there's no emotions. Just, we're here to fulfill our duties. Your mom, this is dad, this is brother, that's it. So it was hard to explain in my spirit, but my journey to love is so beautiful, you know? And I went to a Bible passage, and in our culture, we don't have a last name. My dad actually had to, like, when he came to America, they're like, okay, what's your last name? He had to think of a last name, so T-A-W is my last name. And I remember going to the Bible, and my last name was on the Bible, and it was talking about a lost sheep, strayed far, and that God doesn't go to the 99 that's already, like, you know, been aligned and saved in a way. Like, God goes to the one that is so far, you know. And I get emotional talking about it because sometimes you doubt yourself and you doubt what you're capable of. And I think one of the things that I'm very proud of that God showed me was I've been tortured for so long that I still remain human. And I told God, I was like, when you look at social media and Instagram, like, there's no praise on being compassionate and kind and sweet and thoughtful. It's almost like, where's the money? Follow it. Where's the attention? Follow it. Who's the baddest chick? Who has this? Who has this? And I asked God, I was like, should I become that? Like, should I become so successful, so rich, that I lose a sense of myself? And God was like, you can do it. You can become all of it and still be human. So God literally built me from this foundation of, like, there's nothing wrong with being kind and sweet and compassionate and wanting to have kids and wanting to be feminine, doing it from a place of fulfillment and glorifying the kingdom of God and serving people from a place of joy and fulfillment, never from a place of, I need to make money. And that was my second stage, was like, I thought this was a lie. I thought this was the truth, but it was a lie. I thought that I wasn't deserving of love because at one point I told myself, I'm so hideous. Like, who would want to love me? Like, these intrusive, dark thoughts. And at one point I was like, I can't believe I made it to 23. Like, what about me deserves to see this when there's kids that die at such a young age? Like, why did you choose me? Like, I would have put my life on the line if it meant someone else were to live, because that was how low I was vibrating. But now I'm worthy of a beautiful life. I'm so happy now that I have this high sense of self-esteem and personal, like personal excellence. And I asked God, I said, like, what do you see in me that I don't? And you know, it was like a 5+ year journey, and that's the investment people don't talk about, is the moment you know, you don't need to believe in God if you know God. knowing that God came through over and over and over again through dreams. And like, I had to tell myself, my money does not determine my worth, especially in a world that's just like, have your own money, get your own bag. Like, granted, that is important, but what they don't say is every relationship dynamic is different. If you are a woman that is meant to like own a business, like, do that and don't apologize for it. Like, do it. If you're a woman that's meant to have a lot of kids, because everybody's role is different and you need the husband to become the businessman, like, that's your relationship. It's how the relationship works. And I had to literally tell myself the truth of what God has for me, not what I've been told to, because the only relationship that I saw was with my parents, and it was like utterly disastrous. I mean, like, yeah, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But there was also beautiful moments too. So it was hard for me to, like, is it true? Is it a lie? Do I deserve to be feminine? What is going on? So that's the second phase. So the first phase is the void. The second phase is like, I thought this was it. It's not. I thought I knew better. I don't. And so, Source, I allow you, show me, I receive it. Like, you know. And the third phase, of which I'm living now, is the creation. It is you might not have the skills yet, but what God sees in you, He's seen in everybody else. And it's just a skill level. And it's like having that confidence to say that you deserve to make the income. You deserve to have a business. You deserve to have the relationship. You deserve to have true divine love. You deserve to have someone choose you, want you, not need you from a place, because the moment they're done needing you, they'll find somebody else. Like, true sacred union, alignment, true divine love, true fulfillment, true happiness, perfect income, perfect home. Like, that is your birthright. And I used to be so resentful of that way of thinking. I was like, I don't want people to think that I'm better than them. I'm not better than anybody. No one is better than me. We're the same. We're loved by the same source. And I had to tell myself that, like, don't let someone else's extraordinary success make you think you don't deserve that. And that was from Liza Nicole. And so when I thought about that, I was like, it's so interesting when you enter like a new skill field, there's always like an expert. You know, there's always someone that people look up to. And that's years and years and years of work. And it's almost like fear analysis paralysis of like, I don't know if I have what it takes. So being in creation mode means like, I've gone through the night of dark soul. I had to overcome my beliefs. Here I am. What do I do? Now, Source revealed to me one of the mistakes that a lot of women in our age do that I don't want to make. And I'm very intentional with everything, is like, we focus on the career, we focus on the money, we don't really focus on much relationship. Okay, and then I saw a study by 2035, there's going to be more women who are singleless and childless. There are more women that are having education. There's women that are building businesses. And you can take it from two different stances. The first one is like, oh my gosh, women are being manipulated. Women are being lied to, like feminist movement, you know, all that stuff. The second one is more of like, well, three views. The second one is more of like they're not being lied to, because for the first time, they actually get to have something to say, because the dynamic that worked between their ancestors doesn't work now. It's a different world now. And the third perspective is like, what is the agenda? Like, what is the agenda? Why is this happening? Although women are becoming more successful, they're not as fulfilled. Okay? And it's almost like, I've noticed this too, is a lot of women do want to have kids, do want to have a family, but this heavy distrust with the masculine energy, it's throwing a lot of women to be masculine themselves, and I don't blame them. It's almost like you wanted your father to protect you, but he ended up touching you. You wanted your father to protect you, but he ended up abandoning you. Why wouldn't you operate the way that you do? And so there's so much conversation in terms of like the truth, trying to find the answer and living the best version of yourself. Because I always knew when I was younger, I wanted to have a lot of kids. I wanted one husband, death do us part. I would love to have that experience of like waking up in the morning, beautiful big home, like it's just so peaceful, the love of my life next to me, my kids running in, just giving us hugs. I'm pregnant, like it's beautiful garden, got farm animals, like, you know, I see that, and I think like, I think the third part of the creation phase is telling yourself that like it is so possible. Because if I can see a woman living that, then she had to go through something that I haven't gone through yet, but I'm willing to go through because I see it. So social media is a tool and you have to be smart enough to use it, okay? So Void, Night of Dark Soul, Expanding, you've got the overcoming, and then you've got like the creation. So it's like a 3-step process. And although I'm speaking it to you, this was years in the work. It wasn't like I was feminine overnight. It wasn't like I was soft overnight. If you were to talk to me 5 years ago, I promise you I would literally get so defensive. I'd argue with you all the time. And I did. And, you know, you have to forgive yourself for what you've done because you really just didn't know better, and really take accountability and to prevent that. And like at the end of the day, I'm going to have this huge, strong trust in the masculine, loving energy that I can be taken care of. Like I don't have to worry. I will do my part as a woman, and there's a man out there. There's a like loving, eternally gifted, sacred man out there that is willing to provide, that is willing to, you know, embrace me and love me, want me, not needing me, wanting me, because they're willing to be committed. Like, and so when you're in that mode of creation, it's like, what do you want? And you have to ask the right questions to get to where you want to be. And so for women that want to have a lot of kids, want to live in her purpose, but also like have a marriage, and just if that's something that is important to you as it is important to me, like I will just say that is the most bravest thing you can do, is to have faith in the world telling you to destroy it. Because when you have faith, no one can control you, because your mind is not within the matrix, it is within the mind of God. And within the mind of God, he gives, and I'm just thinking about this too, is like, if you've ever seen a well, you know how there's water under there, okay? And then you have like, in the old times, they had the bucket. You're not really sure how long you got to bring the bucket down, but eventually, you know, you grab the water and you bring it back up. And that's how God operates, is when your mind is the bucket. And God is this pure, clean, healthy water. And when you dig deep enough and like allow God to give you the water of life, and you bring it back up and you drink it and you create it, you manifest it from that place, people will start to ask you, how the hell are you living your life right now? Like, how the hell are you prosperous right now? And so life is just so beautiful. And if you're going through a night of the dark soul and you're just like, oh, I'm homeless, oh, I'm broke, oh, I'm in this, like, yeah, like that's normal, baby. But what's not normal is putting yourself in that predicament and thinking you couldn't deserve better, because God wants to give you everything. So if you're at a point in your life and you're at your lowest moment, the angels are with you, God is with you, divine love is with you. And I just felt my spirit to say too, is like, please be positive. Like, accept the truth and choose to have a better view of the situation. And the hardest part is allowing yourself to believe it's a better situation, even though it's not, and being crazy enough to move in a different way and not really sure what the outcome looks like. And also, please do it from a pure intention of wanting to understand source, wanting to receive from source, to give from a place of love. A lot of us want to connect to God to get, but we never really give to other people. So selflessness, believing in yourself, having a positive, truthful outlook on life, and I will say too, last thing is whatever you think that you can dream of, that you can become in a positive, loving, kind, sweet, the best version of yourself, like lose the mind that no longer serves and be delusional and believing that you already are that person. And I love you guys so much. Oh my gosh. I love you guys so much. I'm so thankful. And I hope you got everything you could ever want and realize it's always been yours, and that you allow other people to see this reality. Love you guys.